we're all ready. Okay. So, let me see. Is there anybody here whose hands I haven't read?
Her.
Just you? Well, let's just get rid of everybody else and focus on you. As a matter of fact, I will give you a few extra moments.
Yeah.
Let's do introductions. I'll just talk for a little bit, since all of you have had hand readings. And then we can focus tonight on hand reading. So let's go around the room, say your name while you're in attendance tonight.
Jeff Cotton, I'm here because I really enjoy what I've seen, and I want to see what has changed.
So you know, the hands change, but you might not know, maybe you do, that the hands change while I am looking at them.
I didn't know that.
So, already learning something.
Yeah.
And the evening's only seconds old.
Okay.
So they change by the second,
Or
They change by the
by
nanosecond.
the nanosecond.
we can put it on the table.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Do people's faces change?
Probably.
You look at people's faces. If you were standing on the sidelines and had night vision while people were watching a movie, they're sad, they're angry, they're surprised. How long for facial change? Nanoseconds. And somebody gets something on the telephone, good news, bad news, and their entire face and then their body completely rearrange itself in a matter of just split seconds. Well, the hands do exactly the same stuff, except that you're probably not used to looking at people's hands like I am, and therefore you wouldn't notice that. I, however, would certainly notice that. So as I am reading for somebody, if I mention Bob, maybe your thumb moves in and your index finger moves up a little. But now that Bob is no longer the topic, but Mary is, the index goes back, the thumb goes back, but the pinky sticks out, and a little redness appears over here. So, have any of you ever talked to a coin collector,
Numismatist.
numismatist, that's
Right.
what I thought the name was. Have any of you ever talked to a coin collector? You can look at these two coins,
Yes.
and they look pretty much the same to your eye.
Right.
But as soon as the guy starts to explain, see
Right.
the ridged edge
Yeah.
over here? This one doesn't have ridges.
My father was a numismatist.
Well, hence you would know. Notice
Wow.
the raised surface of the face. This face is not a raised surface.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You can sit right there, where you right up. Right here. Welcome.
Right there where I can keep my eye on you.
Well, we can't disappear.
I apologize.
No, it's no problem.
Okay, we're just early on in introductions. Okay, so I was just saying that hands can change quickly. I'm Richard, by the way. And hands change quickly, and the things that my eye notices are probably different than somebody else who's not used to looking at hands. The same way a coin collector, that was the point I was making as you entered. The same way a coin collector looks at things. And that coin collector has looked at how many gold coins, how many buffalo nickels. It's not the first one that they've seen, and they have a much more practiced eye than you. As I interrupt myself mid-sentence. What is it? The Roadshow, where the guy explains that this is worth
Antiques Roadshow.
Antiques
Yeah.
Roadshow. It's a good thing that you didn't throw away this lamp. It's worth $400 million.
Right.
Oh, if only you had the intact bulb. As they toy with the audience. But they see things that the rest of us don't, and it's fascinating to listen to them explain what they actually see. So I've been looking at hands for 44 years, and over 1,000 pair of hands a year, so I'm in the near 60,000 pair of hands category. And so I see hands in a way different than you do. And so I'm going to look at your hands and say what I see. Very good. Thanks for coming.
Hi, my name is Nancy, and Richard's read my hand a couple times, and a couple of Richard's students were staying with me this weekend, and of course they were looking at my hands, because they always do. And they said, "Ooh, you need to have Richard look at your hands. There's something going on there." So I thought I would present.
I tell them to say that.
Yeah, right.
But only to you.
Probably.
Well, here you are anyway, one way or another. So we got
Right.
you here. Okay.
Well, because something is going on in my hand, something different, so
Well,
I thought that'd be, I was curious. I mean, of course, they gave me their opinion.
well, who knows what I'll be seeing.
Yeah.
So this is a different format than if somebody sets up a private session with me. In a private session, I'm going to do a more thorough look-see.
Mhm.
In this format, I'm not going to do a thorough look-see.
Mhm.
I'm going to let my eye wander and then land somewhere. Actually, I don't let my eye do that. That's what my eye does anyway. I just follow it where it goes, and there's a particular way it feels when it's landed somewhere. And that's what I'll start talking about. And I'll just kind of follow wherever my eye is leading me in your hands. We'll see what comes
Well,
out.
it wasn't, well, I'll let you
You don't have
see.
to say-
Yeah, it's not what you think it is.
I have no, I'm not thinking.
Okay, good.
Nor will I be, not in the normal sense while I'm reading your hands. People, interestingly, from my perspective, have come up to me. Let's see, how do you do that? Okay, so dismissing that I could be reading their hands. So it's like you listen to the conversation before the circle starts, and then you watch the, and imagine all the work I would have to do if I did all that. It's much easier to invent a system of reading hands and practice it over and over, and then just read what your hands say. So I don't care.
Oh, then knowing what people are talking about.
No.
Or looking at how they're dressed, or trying to
No,
interpret
that's great.
all that. I'm not telling you, Nancy. I'm using your share as an opportunity to instruct others.
He doesn't care how you're dressed.
Who are in
I
who are
noticed
in your
that.
presence.
So I'm Haloa, and I came with my friends Erna and Jeff. And I'm visiting. I was in South Carolina for my mom's 80th birthday, so I'm heading back to Sitka. So I had an opportunity to pass through my longtime friend here, friends, and so they spoke highly of you, their experience before. So
Sitka.
yes,
Going there to warm up.
yeah, it's warmer here.
Are you flying or are you taking the ferry?
I'm gonna fly. I don't even know that the ferry's running anymore
Ah.
because it's summer. The Bellingham run is
Ah.
summer.
Oh, she just went last week, my friend, on the
Yeah.
Bellingham.
Oh,
Still
did,
going.
did
Just last
so
Friday.
it's still going.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Okay.
On
Okay.
Friday.
Well, thanks for coming.
Hi, I'm here to have an update.
Tell everybody your name just
Oh,
in case
Len
somebody
Erna
doesn't
Cotton,
know.
or Erna Cotton, or Mom, or whoever. So I would like to have an update. It's been over a year. I was here last 2012, the first part of the year. Lots happened for me personally, so I'm curious.
Well, who knows? Maybe your hand hasn't budged one iota.
True.
That's also completely possible.
Mhm.
The hands are subject to change, but that doesn't mean that they have to.
Right.
And haven't you ever met somebody, or I'm assuming you have, but I don't know. But imagine the possibility the rest of us here. So somebody tells you that their life is completely different. They found Jesus. They have given up. Who knows what they've given up? They've done this. They've done that. They've seen the guru, and they've seen the light, and now their whole life has changed. And have you ever met somebody who said that, and then like the next days, weeks, months, years, nothing changed?
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they now talked about how changed they are, because it's the same old Fred, same old Matilda, whatever.
I won't mention names.
Yeah, that's why I use Fred and Matilda all the time, so to indict the innocent. And who knows? Who knows? Some hands. Here's here's something. I don't know if you know this. And you've been to what, 20 of these?
All 30 circles.
Okay. But who's counting? So one of my students took the handprint of a policeman as part of doing a reading for the man. And 3 days later, he shot a teenager and killed him. On purpose. I mean, it was in the line of duty. A clean shoot, if you will. And then 30 days after, went back to the hand reader, got another handprint and another reading. And the hands were dramatically different. And since the camera's on, I wish I could just have them here as if I had thought of that in advance. Notice this one and then this one. And from across the room, you would be able to see how significantly different the hands are. And my close-up eye would reveal even more. He went through just enormous stuff in those 30 days. And the later hand was a much more self-aware, introspective person than the 30 days prior, but not as secure a person at all. And so people can go through radical change, and their hands can change very quickly, and other hands not at all. I'll just follow what my eye sees, looking at yours, and my eye will see, my mouth will talk, and you'll come to whatever conclusions you do.
Right.
Good to see you again.
My name's Michael, and I've had, I think this will be the 10th or 11th reading now, and so I see Richard every 1 to 3 months depending on his schedule, and I've just kind of followed this timeline in my. So I've got some interesting things going on in my life right now, and I think it'd be a good time to update the old hand reading. So
I have heard stories about you over the last few weeks.
Yeah, lots changed. So
But
we're shaping and shifting every day. So
I'll just see what your hands say.
yeah.
Hi, my name's Jenny, and this will be my third reading with you. And I just felt called to be here, so here I am.
Yeah, interesting stuff, this sound stuff. You want to say anything?
I'm Sandy, and this is my house, and I love the hand circles. What I like about this is that you get to meet people in a very deep way, and I have a photographic memory, so actually I pretty much remember what he says about you, and that's very exciting. You know, it's like meeting. You can't go any place where you meet people so quickly and find out so much about them at such a deep level. So I really enjoy this. I like making new friends. Therefore I'm here.
By the way, I don't remember anything about it.
He remembers nothing.
Nothing about your readings.
You're the scribe.
Very good.
So our name and why we're here? Sort of? Okay.
I know exactly.
Okay. I'm Alicia. I'm here because Jenny called me and I called her at 6:20.
Oh my goodness.
Practically. And then I got lost. But I don't know, I guess I came for the adventure of it. She
It's an adventure.
thought you were wonderful, and Jenny's a new friend of mine, and it seemed like an opportunity to meet new people.
It is.
Just how adventurous are you?
I'm pretty adventurous. Yeah.
This is probably more than you're bargaining for.
Oh, is it? Can't wait to see.
So, let me tell you that, for one, I cannot see anything about a person's future. As far as I know, the hands don't say anything about what's going to happen. They're just your hands. They are connected to you, however. And by looking at your hands, I can see what kind of person you are in quite a bit of detail. And as a matter of fact, in some way, the kind of person you are has something to do with what kind of future you can bump into. You know, character is determinative to some degree. By the same token, what you might not know, since you're just showing up here like that, is that the fingerprints that you are wearing are the same fingerprints that you had when you were this big, 5 months yet to get born. And they're bigger, but that's it. And inside your fingerprints, Erna knows this in detail, inside your fingerprints is a picture of the person you could potentially grow up into. not in terms of your capabilities, talents, like that, your motivation system, not in the normal sense of the word, because you don't have talents yet. You're you know, you got a ways to go just to get born. The fingerprints have a picture that is a different type of map to your inner world. And if you have done other psychological testing, Myers-Briggs or something like that, if you've heard of that stuff, are you familiar with Myers-Briggs? So you answer 100 questions, and then they tell you that you're an ABCD type or an LMNOP type, and they're very clever, and they sell 3 million of those a year. Not bad. And they will tell you nothing, however, about what is going to give you a sense of being on purpose with your life, what your life purpose is, where you can find a fulfillment that is the search for meaning type of fulfillment. That is the fingerprint map. And as I look at your fingerprint map, this shortly, I'll be looking at the rest of your hand to see elements of your personality, what archetype or types you are, and I'll tell you about the good news and bad news of the archetype or types that I find. But it's by comparing the type of person that you are, the developmental you, with the frozen in time prior to your birth picture of you in your fingerprints, that hands become so juicy and so much gets revealed. So that's what I'm going to be doing very shortly.
Cool.
If anybody wants to blink it, I have all those throws right here. If anybody's cold.
Sweet, thank you.
I can blanket.
Would you like a blanket?
For my toesies, both hands. Yeah, your hand is tilted this way, which pushed this guy in and distorted your hand a little. Do you notice that your hand is not on exactly straight? It's been yanked sideways. Can you see the torquing that is taking place? Notice it go like this. See the topography. See the topography here? You see how it's bulged out, pushed up? This guy doesn't have enough soil underneath and is suffering on top. All of that is what a trained hand reader would be looking at. And all that stuff means something to me. It is code. Well, it's the same way that when you read the newspaper, that's all code. Have you ever been to Russia or someplace where you can't read the newspaper? I mean, little kids can read the newspaper, but you can't. You don't know the code. Clearly, there's meaning there. I mean, other people are not just sitting there on the train staring at this Jackson Pollock painting that is probably print. You get the idea. The side of boats have the same type of printing on it. It probably means something, but I'm at a loss to know what that means. And you probably, well, a little bit, but you don't know this code, and that's the code that I do know. So the hand is extremely detailed, and it has a very elegant and economic way of expressing what it does. And the hand says what it chooses to say, not necessarily what the person across from me tells me that it should have. So you should be saying this over here. Well, that's what you say I should be saying, but the hand says what it does, and I will report to you. No questions. That's okay. Have a seat. I happen to be in the first seat. Somebody was going to go first.
Okay.
Weren't you going to go first?
Yes.
Yeah. That's good.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You're the adventurer.
We have the adventure.
Up to you.
So I'm going to be focusing on your life purpose. That's what I do when I read hands. Do you have any handle on the question? If I ask you what my life purpose is, I'm not asking you to tell me what it is. I'm asking if you have any sane answer that you can think of when I ask you that.
Any sane answer?
Yeah. Any answer that is clear, that you've thought of before, and that carries weight with you, as opposed to live each day to the fullest. That would be more like words to live by, universal. Anybody could say that, as opposed to specific to you, an internal guidance system about your own navigation towards meaning. answer to the what is my life purpose question.
Uh,
Don't tell me what you think it is.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
asking yes, no, maybe, or something in between those.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I put in yes and in between those. Yeah.
Okay. Are you more on the hot seat than you expected already? We're only 15 minutes into the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I do in a life purpose seminar. Is at the beginning, everybody gets a yellow pad and has to write down my life purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the weekend, we'll look at what we wrote,
Okay.
either with new eyes or not, as the case may be. But each person stands in front of the room and says, my life purpose is, and then whatever flows out. But most of the answers that come out are either, like what I just said, words to live by. Be all I can be, always be kind to the plants and animals, good to my children, their children, everybody's children, hold the light of self-awareness to those, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Nice sounding stuff that has no meaning particular to them. When I'm in middle America, I get more religious answers. My life purpose is to be a good, fill in the blank with their religion, depending upon where I am. And who wants to argue with a person who's telling you that what's important, you know? Okay. But let's say that they were going to say, my life purpose is to be a Christian. Okay. That's the same as 2 billion other people then, right? So they share a life purpose with 2 billion others. So that's not what I mean by life purpose.
Okay.
That whatever that is, that's not this. That's one's religion. Okay. And when I'm more on the East Coast, I get more answers like a list of goals. My life purpose is to retire by 45, Great Wall of China, Yukon River, canoe trip, you know.
Save $500,000.
And I'm from there.
And those are goals.
Right.
And your fetal fingerprints probably didn't take the Great Wall of China into account as it was printing out its message. Okay. And I'll be looking at yours, and I'll tell you something. It'll be recorded on this little CD thing, you know, these round things.
Okay.
They still exist. They'll be quaint. 45 minutes from now, I suppose, they'll be gone, but they still exist. And the words that came out of my mouth as I looked in your hand will be on that little disc for you to use, keep, cherish, throw away as you please. But I'm just using this in here as an example to talk about what I'm doing next. But people listening to the CD often report to me that what they heard on the CD is not what they heard when they were sitting there. Which is why this Roland recorder has little elves in it.
And we hear what we need to hear probably.
Well, on the
Here.
third or fourth time, it's possible that the person will hear what I actually said. I'm playing around with you, but it's not a bad idea, just in general, to play the CD in front of somebody that knows you well and ask them what they hear. And since I don't know any of the events of your life by looking at your hands, I don't know if you're a millionaire or a pauper. I don't know how old you are by looking at your hands, married or unmarried, 20 children or none. Those things are invisible in your hands. You know those things about you.
Right.
Right. So the way in which you interpret what I'll be telling you and how it fits into the circumstances that you know, it's useful to have another person listen. Because they might say, you know, that could be about this. You know, you might not have thought that at all. Okay. Who do we got? We got
Robert's here.
Robert.
We can
I
take the
was
green
just
chair,
gonna say
honey.
new man. We'll give Robert a chance to show up. No, dirty is better. Yeah. If you don't mind, do me a favor, just a couple of inches this way. This way I get the light better.